Hi friends, my name is Colleen and I am a professional fitness instructor with over 10 years experience in the Pilates bar fitness world. Today we'll be doing a mat class where you will use a Pilates ball or like object and a set of hand or wrist weights. It can be ones, twos, threes, find what works best for you and your body, or something similar. My personal favorite, the imaginary hand weights. And don't forget your mat, your emotional support water bottle, and a playlist that you love. Let's get started together. Let's start in our warm-up in a tabletop. So hand under shoulder, knees under hips, a few cat-cows here. You can take them at your own pace where you lift and round your spine by engaging the core away from the ground below you. Look at your own legs and then switch. Allow your belly button to come closer to the floor below you and you look at the wall or the door in front of you. Take them at your own pace here, trying not to let the hips go towards your feet. Stay roughly same spot in the air. Allowing the spine to change shape. Using your breath if you need to help. Good. The next time you're at center where we started, hold here. Now take your right hand, tap the front edge of your mat, bring it back. Same thing left. All right, so we're not letting our hips drop. They're not rocking side to side. We are only tapping the edge of our mat. Come back under the shoulders. For 4, 3, and if your edge is a little further than mine, don't worry about it. Just reach forward and tap. Good. Now, the legs will do the same. So straight back with the right foot, big toe to floor, come back under your hips. Same thing left. So working on our core control, stabilizing. I've switched to 2 fists as my arm posture because it feels more comfortable on the carpet. Carpet and a mat just is not the most comfortable for my joints lately. We're here for 4, 3, 2, 1 more, we put it together. So right leg, left arm. They're not going up, they're going out and tapping the mat. Out and tap the mat. Now if it's too much for balance right now, pick one. You can do arm, then leg, or you can glide them in and out instead of a full lift off the ground. There is always a way to meet your body where it is today. And you're here for 4, 3, 2, 1 more. You can do a child's pose, arms lengthen, give the wrist a little twirl here. Great work. Let's plank. Grab your squishy ball, fold your mat, do what you need to for wrist hand comfort. Ball is going mid-ankle zone. Now you can be hands, 2 fists, or elbows. Find what works best for you, your plank today. And then when you're ready, come into your high plank. So hips and shoulders, same height in the air. We are on the toes, abs are engaging in and up. Our shoulder blades are not flying away to the ceiling. Both knees, little bend, lengthen. You only bend as much as you can, that you're not letting the hips drop. So they stay frozen, little bend and lengthen. Ball is here to make sure our legs don't run away. Bend and lengthen here. If you're on the elbows, parallel forearms. Your knees might tap the ground from the elbows, just be mindful. 4, 3, 2, 1 more, gently lower. Now move the ball mid-thigh. All right, come into more of a tabletop posture or a bear plank posture. So if you're on the elbows, you can still do the move. Just be aware that your hips might be in a different spot in the air, and that's okay. Lift the hips to shoulder height, no lower. From here, little ball squeeze. Squeeze. If you're on the elbows, hips might be a little bit higher so that you're not brushing your knees across the ground. The little squeeze, inner thighs. Inner thighs, core stays engaged so much to help control the squeezes, right? In, 4, 3, 2, and then gently lower. under your mat if it was folded. You get to lay down. I know, thank goodness. Keep the ball laying down on your mat. For dead bug. You're welcome. Lower back area with your squishy ball. Now, as you can see, my ball is not completely popping from underneath my booty. It's not under my tank top line either on my spine. It is more my pant waistband area. So find where your hip bones are, put the ball roughly underneath your hip bones. You can adjust it as much as you need to. This will also depend on the size of your squishy ball. And then bring the legs to tabletop. So a rough tabletop, knee over ankle, shins roughly parallel to the floor. I know it might be really hard to see your legs to get them in the perfect tabletop, and that's okay. Now, what is the ball doing? It is being supportive for the lower back, but it's also wiggly, creating a balance challenge, isn't it? Shoulders tension-free on the mat below you. Let's do palms to ceiling to really help open the chest, open the shoulders. Now core, engage it in towards your spine, up towards your ribs. Our spine is long, so we are not a frown right now. Lengthen the spine here with the squishy ball. The ball also lifting the hips provides relief if you have tight glutes or tight hamstrings. So you might find that your legs in the next moves have a different range of motion than if you did them with your hips on the floor. So great prop, the squishy ball. Now legs. Let's start with a single leg stretch. So you reach one foot away from your hip. Reach for maybe 25% from where ceiling and wall meet, so lower to 25%. Opposite knee is coming in towards your own eyeball. And then switch. So my foot is aiming 25% down the wall, knee aiming for my eyeball, and switch. Switch. Take it at a pace that you can maintain your posture and not fall off the squishy ball. But if you do feel that you're falling, sliding, put your foot down, reposition the ball, and hop back in. Now the knees are not going to the two walls next to us. We try to stay parallel hip distance. And I know the ball is moving, so slowing it down, engaging the core a little bit extra. We lengthen and reach. So the opposite movement here for 4, 3, 2, also tension-free hands. One more set, and then hold. Don't worry about which one you're holding on. Hold here. Lengthened leg. Scoop it to the ceiling, come back down to 25%. Scoop to the ceiling, come back to 25%. So over the hip, roughly, gentle knee. You never have to grip the knee or the ankle or the toes. Lower 25, come back up for 4, 3, 2, opposite leg is frozen. Let's switch. Same movement. So only your lengthened leg is moving roughly over your hip, lower 25%. Over hip, lower 25%. Nothing else moves. So really engaging the core to stabilize the bent leg. Don't let it lower. Keep it same spot. We're here for 4, 3, single leg lift and lower. After your final one here, now can you do more of a bicycle-like movement? So as one leg comes in towards you, the other reaches away, and you kind of draw a circle with your feet, right? Now the size of your bicycle, maybe it's further away from your hips that you're pedaling your feet. Maybe you can draw a really big circle where you pedal your feet. You do the one that works best for you. And then ready? Pause. We're going downhill. I know, I heard laughter. I did. Can you switch directions of your two legs? I know it takes a moment for the brain to kind of get back into the movement in the opposite direction, right? Maybe the circles are a different size this time. That's okay. But remember, we're not bouncing off our squishy ball. We're not letting our spine dramatically change shape. Reach, reach, reach. So get the nice lengthen each time. We're here for 4. Keep paddling. It's not fast. 3, leisurely bike ride through the through the park, not a pike. And then come back to the ceiling. So if you can, lengthen your legs to the ceiling. Wiggle the toes, shake out the hips. The Knees, the ankles, reposition the ball if you've run away. Now turn your legs to first position. What that is the heels are touching, feet make a little V shape, and the entire leg, so femur and hip socket, initiates the turn here. So it's not just your feet, entire leg does an external rotation, come back to parallel. So if my arms are also legs doing an external rotation, so you'll feel the core as well when you do the tiny turnout, come back to parallel, legs touching, heels touching, come back in for 4, 3, 2, hold your external rotation, again, tension-free toes, tiny crisscross of the legs, of your ankles, feet, legs, the little crisscross here, inner thighs are wrapping. So really initiate the movement. You can do hands to inner thighs if you need to. So you can feel the muscles engage. And remember that your feet are not taking over. So floppy ankles if you need to. For 4, 3, 2. Now lower the legs, maybe 25%. Remember from earlier? Good. Keep the little crisscross going. You should start feeling more engagement through the leg now that you have lowered the legs to a high diagonal, we like to call it. So spine hasn't changed shape. Now see if you can lower a touch more. If your spine, your ribs start to pop, come back up towards the ceiling. So find a spot you can maintain with good posture. It's not crazy low, right? You're here for 4, 3, still breathing, 2. One more time, come back to the ceiling, beautiful. Tabletop the legs, reposition the ball, your final one is here. So your right leg, start with your right leg. Send it long, but don't move the left, come back in. So one leg at a time. If you need to, put your hand to your left thigh so it doesn't run away. You reach to the high diagonal, we were calling it 25% down the wall earlier, same idea. Reach, bring it in, tension-free toes. I was gripping the air, my feet weren't happy. 4, spine isn't changing. 3, you can do hand to core if you need to. 2, one more, same thing, other side. So left leg lengthens, right leg is frozen. You can do hand to quad if you need, hand to core as well. Reach, bring it in. Reach, bring it in. I love doing tactile self cues because it really helps tell the brain what should or should not be moving. For 4, 3, 2, one more. Come back to start. Can we alternate? So one, bring it in. The other, bring it in. So you're not coming as far in as we did during the single leg stretch. You're stopping roughly when your knee is over your hip each time. Now, as you can see, you can do it with floating half the arm. You can do it with floating the full arm. You can follow your leg with your hand each time. Do you see where the move dead bug got its name from now? Reach, bring it in. We will not be speeding up today. Out and in. 4, 3, 2, one more. Come back to center. Take the ball out. Don't throw it. Give it a little hug. Rock side to side if you need to. Now put the ball mid-thigh. Come back to your tabletop posture. Arms down by your side. Relax, relax. Now we have a reverse crunch. It is the lower body, so hips all the way down to your feet, leaving the floor. So if a crunch normally is lifting the head, neck, and shoulders, a reverse crunch is lifting the hips, the tailbone. So it might not be far, and that's okay. Maybe you're lifting 1, 2 inches, but you're really focusing on the lower spine, the lower core to control. So you're bringing your hips towards your rib cage, so not just towards the ceiling. Did you see the difference? Yeah. So hips towards ribs, head, neck, and shoulders, relax them on the mat. They do not need to tense up. Slight tension on the ball, and it is only to help you engage your core. We lift for 4, tension-free feet, legs. 3, 2, Really melt the spine back to the mat. Good. We'll work up to more. You can do a little rock. You can do side to side. Lovely. Rock yourself up, ball aside. We have what I like to call a seesaw. It is a little bit of glute, a little bit of tricep. We are in a plank. Walk your hands just in front of your shoulders here on your mat. Now, knees under hips, take your right leg, lengthen it to big toe behind you on the floor. Now, lengthen your leg, lengthen your ankle so that your leg hasn't changed height. You're just not having your toes as a kickstand. So, no toe kickstand. Let's start with a tricep push-up. What happened to your leg? Did it lift because your upper body lowered? Good, you look like a seesaw here. So a little extra press through the base of your palm. Now, if you find that the arm on the lifted side, lifted leg side, is bothering you, knees down, both knees down, you do the same tricep dip and lift. So keep that in mind. If it's adding too much weight into the arm on your lifted leg side. You're here for 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Yes, you do it on the other side. So shake the hands out if you need to. Other leg lengthens, big toes to the floor. Big toes not on the floor now. Excellent. Seesaw motion. So lift through the core, lift through the triceps, the lats to press. So maybe your seesaw, different range on this side. That's okay. Your glute, your hamstring stays engaged to keep your leg floating the entire movement. 4. We have 1 more move coming up. 3, 2, 1 more. Gently lower, grab a child's pose, sink the hips back, long arms. If you folded your mat, unfold your mat, grab your squishy ball. I know. Mid-thigh for bridges, hand weights, 1 on each side. So put them in a spot that you can grab them easily when you're in your bridge, that you don't have to run away and miss any bridge fun. I know, right? That'd be terrible. Heels in line with sit bones, shoulders tension free. Just let the arms relax. Now lift your booty, your hips, about a fist distance between your booty and the mat below you. So it's not crazy high right now. Your knees roughly over your ankle or just behind your ankle. Ball is mid-thigh, not between the knees. Your knees and toes are aiming at the wall in front of you. Now wrap your core. So just like when we did dead bug, our spine should not be a frown. Keep the core engaged. Keep the rib cage drawing closer together. So knitting the ribs on your chest. I guess that's not your chest. On your torso here. Now start with small lifts. So you're activating the back of your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings. The core does so much work in bridges as well here. Tension-free toes. You have weight in the ball of your foot, which is the area below your toes, and then the heel of your foot. So toes, just let them relax right now. Up an inch. Up, up, up. 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Now hold the lift, little squeeze. So you're adding a little bit extra tension to the ball. When you unsqueeze, you don't drop the squishy ball. You keep some tension the entire time so that you don't drop it. But you add a little bit more, a little more for 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Let's combine it with our lift pulse. So you lift 1, lower 1, squeeze 1, little release 1. So muscle in each direction. So when you lower from your pulse, it's not gravity, it's muscle. When you unsqueeze, it's not that you're releasing completely. You are using muscle to open, to lift 1, lower 1. Close the legs a little, open them a little. Good. Lift 1, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Come back to hips on the floor. Grab your hand weight. Now you can use 1 if you prefer instead of 2. These are heavy. I regret my choice right now. So hands roughly over your shoulder, elbow over your shoulder, skull crusher time. So bend, lengthen. Now, if you're using one hand weight, you hold each end of it. We do not actually crush our skulls. Please do not crush your skull with your hand weight. I know that's where the name is, but we don't really. Elbow is over your shoulder. The less you can allow your elbow to move forward and back in the air, the more work you'll get in the back of your arm right here, the tricep. Palms are facing one another towards your midline. Now again, if it bothers your elbow to do skull crushers, ditch the weights. Decrease your range of motion in the air. You can always come down to a lower weight. If it's just that the weight is too much today, that's fine. You're always welcome to change the weight, to use imaginary weights. Now, if you can, hover the hips again. Good. You can keep the hips down the whole time if you need to on the floor, but you're still doing the skull crusher for 4. It's heavy. 3. So heavy. 2. I regret my hand weights. Bring the weights back to the floor next to you. Back to the hip pulse. Up an inch. Up an inch. Reconnect the core here. Do hands to core if you need to so you know what shape your spine is taking. Your rib cage. Lift. Lift. Tiny. 4. 3. 2. Hold your bridge lift. Alternate the heels, lift right. Switch. Switch. Follow balance challenge. You can float your arms without your hand weights. You don't need them right now. Just over your chest, over your face here. But you're focusing on your waistline. We're not letting the hips become unsquared. They stay squared to the ceiling, and you're just lifting and lowering. So it's a lot of core, a lot of glute and hamstring. Inner thighs might be on fire from holding the squishy ball. 4. 3. 2. 1. More gently lower the feet. Now melt your spine at your own pace into the mat below you. Good. Roll through. Switch. Come back up. Melt, melt, melt. So you're peeling and melting. Really separating the spine in each direction. It feels so good, doesn't it? It's really fantastic for the spine health, for the core, for learning how to control the spine, the body. 1 more at your own pace. Beautiful. You can reach opposite directions or hug and rock, but when you're ready, gently bring yourself up to seated. We have another plank. We always have another plank, don't we? We are on our knees this time with the ball mid-thigh in a tabletop or a knee plank. So tabletop, knee plank. Now grab one of your 2 hand weights. If you only had 1 hand weight, that's okay. So we have our hand weight starting just below your right hand underneath you. Excellent. Now you pass it below your left hand, below your right, and switch. Your goal is to not let your hips rock. You could even do this with any object. It doesn't have to be a hand weight if you want to use a small stuffed animal. Just so you can understand the movement, so your body gets used to the fact that only your arm is moving and nothing else. Is my little carrot. His name is Colleen. She's so happy that you're here. Good smile. Her little flower. Good. You're here for 4, 3, 2, 1 more. You may put the hand weight aside, grab a child's pose. Long arms, let your head rest on the mat. You can take the ball out if it's in your way. Now keeping your hips back on your heels. Send your hands outside your body, outside your mat here. Get a nice side body stretch. Come through center, do the other side when you need to. Oh, this one feels nice. Beautiful. I said that a lot today. Today's word, beautiful. Shoulders down and back. I'm sure you'll call me out in the comments. A little hand twirl. You can look side to side, help reduce the tension in the back. And then bottom of the neck here, base of the shoulder, whatever you want to call it, base of the neck. There we go. Thank you for coming to your mat class today. I'm so happy that you made time for yourself. Now, if you haven't done it already, don't forget to hit subscribe below so you never miss a class and check out the other ones here on my page.